And now, Rowlatt Act in 1919 is aimed at 2012 compulsory economic support to war efforts, imprisonment without trial and summary procedure for trial, suppression of the Khilafat movement. We'll discuss Khilafat movement. Imposition of restriction on the freedom of the press. Okay, it is majorly its imprisonment without any trial. That was Rowlatt Act. It was brought to deal with revolutionaries because they were becoming headache for Britishers. So to deal with the revolutionaries, and they brought this particular act. Okay, so what is this Rowlatt Act? Okay, and then one more question was also asked, I guess, with reference to Rowlatt Satyagraha, which of the following statement is correct? 2015. That Rowlatt Act was passed on the recommendation of Sedition Committee. Yes, Sydney Rowlatt Committee, which is also called a Sedition Committee. Gandhiji tried to utilize the Home Rule League. Yes, Gandhiji organized Satyagraha Sabha against Rowlatt Act, and he tried to utilize the Home Rule League members. Demonstration against the arrival of Simon Commission coincide with the Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act is in 1919, but Simon Commission was in 1927-28. So there is a huge distortion of timeline. So should be the answer 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Which one is? Answer should be, that is B, 1 and 2. Okay. So because the third statement is wrong. 1 and 2 is the answer. And now, what is Rowlatt Act? We'll understand in 1919 on the basis of the Sedition Committee, that is Sydney Rowlatt Committee, to deal with the revolutionaries, like I told you, and to make the Wartime Defense of India Act. It was brought to deal with the Ghadar activities. It is a revolutionary activities. We'll discuss one question asked about Ghadar also. Look at how the questions are interrelated with one act. That act is related to one more revolutionary organization, that is Ghadar. That question is also asked twice, not once. And to make this act as a permanent, because it was a temporary act which was brought down to deal with Ghadar revolutions, and to make this as permanent to deal with more revolutionaries, they brought Rowlatt Act on the basis of Sedition Committee, which is also called a Sydney Rowlatt Committee. It's also called as Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Act in official parlance. And arrest without warrant, that is the provisions. Imprisonment without trial, and that is given by high courts, the trial at high courts. And possession of even seditious newspapers is also guilty. If you are in possession of any revolutionary newspaper also, and you will be considered as guilty of crimes. And then again, habeas corpus or suspend is the basic principles of any democratic society. And again, arrest without warrant is also basic. You require warrant to arrest any person. So that is again basic democratic rights for being taken away by Rowlatt Act. And that is the reason all over across India there was a massive protest against this particular act. And Gandhiji also jumped into the national level politics. Initially he was looking towards, initially participated in local level organization like Champaran Satyagraha. And then again, we talked about after Champaran that Kheda Satyagraha. Okay, so then again Rowlatt Satyagraha against Rowlatt, that Satyagraha Sabha was established. At the same time, no appeal against this particular act. No appeal against any of these actions by British government officials. Now, what is the response of Indians? Every member of Indian Council opposed that one. Every Indian member of the council opposed it, voted against the bill, but they were in minority. Indian members were in minority in the Legislative Assembly, and that is the reason Britishers could able to pass this law easily and easily overruled by official nominees. That's the official nominees of the British government, and they voted in favor of this bill. And some of the Indian members like Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Madhav Malviya, and Mazharul Haq, they all resigned. The elected Indian members were resigned from the assembly in protest against this particular act. Then Gandhiji launched Satyagraha Sabha in 1919, Mahatma Gandhi, against this particular act. It was the first All India mass movement called by Mahatma Gandhiji, All India. The local level movement was Champaran, Kheda, and then again Ahmedabad. To disobey the act, how to disobey the act? That is court arrest and imprisonment, because the acts talk about imprisonment and arresting people, but instead of police before do that one, you yourself go to police station and court your arrest. It's a novel method of protest. And fasting also, ask people to fast at home. He asks common people to protest against Britishers being at home only, just fast against this particular act. You don't have to come to the open ground, you don't have to face the lattes, just be at home, just fasting against this particular act. That will create spiritual awareness. Okay, then again prayers at home against this particular act. Hartal, that is strikes and demonstration. So he called for all these activities, courting arrest, fasting, prayers and hartals. And he tried to utilize the Home Rule League members, because they were already organized since 1916. We can talk about Home Rule Leaguers were there. So they could better organize the people with respect to courting arrest and fasting, creating awareness about fasting, prayers and hartals. So this is Satyagraha Sabha. But if we withdraw it, later. I will come to what led to withdrawal. But what happened is right now is that one. So before this particular act came into being, just look at this points over there. Disobeying the act by quoting, arrest, fasting, prayers and hartals. So now what people got is a kind of a platform. And what is a kind of platform is that now the people are acting. So before that, moderates only at the academic level. Extremists, they knew mass movement is necessary, but they did not know how to utilize the people. They did not know how to utilize the energy of the people. And now Gandhi is utilizing energy of the people in its own way. Or in his own way. Being at home, all the people also participating in national movement just by being fasting and quoting arrest. Then Khilafat non-cooperation movement, we'll come to that one. And why Gandhiji withdraw? Okay, we'll come to that one. So there was protests against this Rowlatt Act at Jallianwala Bagh. Okay, so Jallianwala Bagh tragedy happened. Okay, so April 1919. Okay, April 1919. So General Dayar, okay, ordered firing on common people, unarmed people. And this led to violence across the country because people reacted violently against the British actions. And Rabindranath Tagore gave up his knighthood. Gandhiji gave up his Kaisari Hind in protest against Jallianwala Bagh. And there was a martial law in Punjab. After this particular event, Jallianwala Bagh is in Punjab, Amritsar, in front of the Golden Temple. Okay. And now because the people are turning violence, because people got angry due to actions of Dayar, and this Satyagraha was withdrawn. This was withdrawn few days later in April 1919 only. In April 1919. Okay, so that is the reason Satyagraha was withdrawn. And later, Khilafat non-cooperation movement was launched very next year, the 1920. And the movement was between 1920 to 1922. What is the background for this Khilafat movement is that one? First and foremost, Rowlatt Act. People were unhappy with the Rowlatt Act provisions and unhappy with the Jallianwala Bagh also. And also for General Dayar, who was suspended from the services, he went back to England. And because he lost salary and pensions, so Morning Post, one newspaper, raised funds for Dayar. That again violated sentiments. Indians expected Dayar to be punished over there. And martial law was imposed in Punjab. That's a military rule over there, not the civilian government. We know military role is completely different from the civilian role. And again, Hunter Commission was established to inquire about Jallianwala Bagh and martial law. It's also called as Disorders Inquiry Committee. But no punishment was recommended to Dayar from this committee. So Indian people were unhappy. And no self-government was promised in 1917 August Declaration. Like I told you, that is Chelmsford. 1917 August Declaration, he promised that Indians would be given responsible government. And that responsible government was not given in 1919 Act. Even moderates were also unhappy. Okay, so and also World War I, it was going on. Inflation it led to, because all the Indian resources were transferred to England. That led to inflation. Okay, that led to inflation. Now the entire people were against the British sentiments. So our entire Indian sentiments were against Britishers. So now Gandhiji wanted to utilize those sentiments, and Tilak also wanted to utilize the sentiments to launch non-cooperation movement. And also one international event that influenced, that is Khilafat movement. What is that Khilafat issue is that one? Khilafat issue is, that is Turkey fought on the side of Germany in First World War. Okay, against Britain. So Turkey was the enemy of Britain, but Germany and Turkey got defeated. Both of them got defeated. Now Britain was negotiating treaty with Turkey, but there was a talk that Turkey's power, or we can say Turkey was ruled by Sultan, who was also called as Khalifa. Okay, was the spiritual leader of Islam and Muslims across the world. Okay, so taking away spiritual power as well as political power, his control over Mecca and Medina, and his colonies also, like Palestine was one of the colonies of Turkey, later was taken over by Britain after the First World War. Okay, so, but that violated sentiments, and to oppose this in India, Khilafat Committee was established in 1919 Bombay, because Indian leaders requested to Britishers, that is, do not take away spiritual powers. Even if you take away political power, spiritual powers were also taken away. Okay, so now to oppose that one, there is Khilafat Committee in 1919 Bombay to negotiate with the Britishers. Now, new young nationalist leadership had cropped up. That is Maulana Azad. He had a Urdu weekly called as Al-Hilal, 1912. Then again Muhammad Ali, Comrade English weekly. We are talking about the Khilafat leadership. Okay, and then again Shaukat Ali, Hazrat Mohani, Hakim Ajmal Khan, Hassan Imam. So all these leaders, and along with, you can say, Mukhtar Ansari, that is many young nationalist leadership who opposed the policies of, you can say, All India Muslim League, okay, because it was becoming loyalist to Britishers. Loyalist to Britishers. Okay, so now these young national leaders, they were anti-British, they were nationalist in tendencies. So they are the one who established Khilafat Committee. Now, what is the progress of Khilafat Committee? In November 1919, there was All India Khilafat Conference in Delhi. If British did not accept the demands, that is, if they don't respect the spiritual powers of Khalifa, we are going to launch non-cooperation movement, or we are going to launch boycott of British goods. And that speech was made by Dr. Hazrat Mohani. Okay, and they said that one, we are going to non-cooperate with the British government, which later came to be called as Khilafat Non-Cooperation Movement. In 1920, they had an alliance with the Indian National Congress, and Gandhiji was also appointed as the president of the All India Khilafat Committee. So now the presidentship was also given to Gandhiji. Okay. But what happened? Britishers, after negotiation, they took over the spiritual powers of Khalifa in one of the Treaty of Sevres in May 1920. Okay, so that is, we are talking about from November 1990 to May 1920. Treaty of Sevres. Sevres is a city in France. Okay. Sevres is a city in France. Okay. Again, now in June 1920, now All India All Party Conference happened in Allahabad, and they took the decision for non-cooperation movement. They approved the resolution of non-cooperation movement. Okay, so now the official launch was 1st August 1920. Again, certain textbook says that is 31st August also. So two different dates are there. Okay, so we can stick to that one. So 1st August official launch, and there was a INC special session in September. Lala Lajpat Rai was the president in Calcutta. That is in September 1920, and this session gave approval for non-cooperation movement, because initially it was launched in August from Khilafat platform. The Khilafat leaders are the one who launched this non-cooperation movement first, and later it was launched by, later the support to it was given by Indian National Congress in a special session in September 1920 at Calcutta session, and there was, president was Lala Lajpat Rai. Okay, and what is the program of NCM? That is, Gandhiji wanted to launch it in two phases. The first phase of non-cooperation movement, second phase of civil disobedience. In the first phase, it will include boycott of British goods, boycott of British schools, colleges, services, giving up practice, giving up jobs and everything. Then focusing on Khadi, Swadeshi, okay, giving up all the titles the government has given, all the awards the government has given, the British government has given. And in the second phase, it will involve, that is, civil disobedience, that is willful violation of laws. Willful violation of laws, and of course demonstration or hartals are part of this boycott and Swadeshi itself. But the second phase was never launched because of Chauri Chaura. We'll come to that one. We will see the progress. We will see the events of non-cooperation movement. The first phase, this is included. Gandhi said, if the first phase is successful, I will launch the civil disobedience movement. Okay, so now major events. That 1920 Nagpur session, the president was Vijaya Raghavacharya. Now the constitution of INC was changed. Initially, Indian National Congress constitution from 1885 was believed in constitutional methods, but right now that was changed into extra constitutional and peaceful methods. What is that extra constitutional and peaceful methods? That is mass movement. Because INC as an official policy did not accept mass movement because of the grip of moderates, and extremists tried to change that, but that was not happened. But then moderates understood that the methods are becoming old, and that is the reason of INC as an organization came under the influence of Gandhian techniques, but Gandhian techniques depend upon mass movement. And now they agreed that one, we are going to achieve our goal, that is Swaraj goal, through extra constitutional and peaceful methods, and that is mass movement. And to organization of mass, you require local level leadership, because INC was a national level organization, there was no local organization was there. And to bring the local level organization, they established provincial INC committees. So today they called as Pradesh Congress committees. So provincial INC committees was established, that is in Nagpur session. And to lead any movement of it, Congress established Congress Working Committee of 15 members to lead the INC in all the movements. So that was established at Nagpur session. And Chittaranjan Das was slightly skeptical about non-cooperation and Satyagraha as a technique, but he gave complete support to non-cooperation. Okay. So initially he was a moderate, so not ready to accept for this kind of extra constitutional methods, which involves masses in this particular thing. So, but he gave complete support over here. But some people who are not believing in these kind of methods, they left. Annie Besant, Bipin Chandra Pal, Jinnah, G.S. Kapade, because they still started believing in constitutional methods instead of extra constitutional methods. So that is the reason they left INC. Okay, they left INC. Now Surendra Banerjee, we talked about one Surendra Banerjee. He had come out of INC. I told you he established Liberal Party because there was a dissidence, some kind of disappointment over acceptance of 1919 Act. Moderate leader Surendra Banerjee was okay with 1919 Act because he was okay with 1892 Act, 1909 Act, 1909 Act, 1919. But some leadership was against 1919 Act because it was disappointing, and that is the reason he had come out of INC and formed Indian Liberal Federation Party. Okay, I already mentioned this particular fact. Now again I am mentioning Indian Liberal Federation Party. That is Surendranath Banerjee. And some more events we can see. All these are factual, so you can just keep looking at this one. The national education, because we have to develop some kind of alternatives for Britishers. So many educational institutions were established. Like I told you, Subhash Chandra Bose, he became the principal of National College at Calcutta. These are all factuals. No need to understand. You can just go through these particular facts. Jamia Millia at Aligarh was established, and then later moved to Delhi in 1935. And again, Kashi Vidyapita was established. Later, it was renamed as Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapita in 1995. It was established in 1921 by Shiva Prasad Gupta and Bhagwan Das. Gujarat Vidyapita, then Bihar Vidyapita was established. So these four, which one? Jamia Millia, Kashi Vidyapita, Gujarat Vidyapita, and then Bihar Vidyapita. So all of them were established during non-cooperation movement, because these are all alternatives for British educational institutions. Because boycott of British schools and colleges and Swadeshi, that is national education, went side by side. And then some more events, you can look at that one. Tilak Swaraj Fund was established, and that fund was oversubscribed. 1 crore contribution was made. Okay, and then again we can talk about Congress Volunteer Corps was established because it emerged as a parallel police force. So people stop utilizing police service of Britishers, and now they emerge as a parallel police force to resolve the disputes in the society. And picketing of liquor shops started, particularly by women. Okay, what is picketing of liquor shops? That is, you stand outside the shop, and whoever coming to buy from that particular shops, that is, you stop them from buying. Very much legal. You are not breaking any law. You're just convincing one person not to buy from British shops. Particularly which shops? Liquor shops, because it was providing one of the largest revenues to British government, and even today also it is one of the largest contributor of revenues to central and state, particularly to state governments. Okay, and July 1921, then again Ali brothers were asked. They gave a rapid speeches, or we can say some extremist speeches. They asked Muslim soldiers to resign on the ground of Islam. They said when it is un-Islamic to serve in the British army. And now Gandhiji asked to pass similar resolution from the INC platform to asking Hindu soldiers to resign from that one, because using religious sentiments, using religious symbols to fight for nationalism, but ultimately that led to communalization of Indian politics, and also that led to partition of the country. But again, they want to create awareness, they want to create sentimental, we can say, overtones among the people. So that is, they use religious sentiments too. Then again, one more, no tax campaign already started. Even though no tax campaign is a civil disobedience, it's a willful obedience, Gandhiji wanted to start in the second phase, but people are already started because the enthusiasm was quite high and people got inspired from that one. And in Midnapur and Guntur is Andhra Pradesh, Midnapur in Bengal, tea workers strike in Assam, and steam workers strike in Bengal, led by J.M. Sengupta. In November 1921, the visit of Prince of Wales, Edward, he visited India. I was expecting a grand reception in India, but some people went and met him. But some people were against visit of Prince of Wales into India. Okay, he want to come to India for holidaying. So that invited strikes and demonstration. And the first violence of this movement happened over here, because some people went and supported, some people went to welcome him, and other people, the other section, opposed the people who went to welcome them. So okay, that is led to clash. That is the reason Gandhiji had to postpone civil disobedience. So it is the first violence incident, because Gandhiji's condition always in every movement is you have to remain peaceful. So he felt like, if the movement is turning violence, I will withdraw the movement. Okay, but he wanted to launch civil disobedience, but it has violence clash happened, violence atmosphere was there, so he postponed that one. And again, at local level, some movements happened. Look at this particular events of non-cooperation movement. So there was a Kisan movement in Uttar Pradesh led by Jawaharlal Nehru. JLN means Jawaharlal Nehru, and against Talukdars exploitation. That is some kind of organization. That is the Kisan movement. It's majorly inspiration from, we can say, Russian Revolution also, 1917 Russian Revolution. Then one more event, and that was led by Baba Ramchandra and Jawaharlal Nehru. Then Eka movement, it's Madaripasi against higher rent collection, that is in UP again. Look at that one, how the peasants issues are becoming national issues, because you can't able to distinguish between a national movement and a peasant movement, and that is what Champaran Satyagraha did. That is including peasant movement as the national issues. So Eka movement, okay. Then again Mapilla revolt happened in Kerala, and that was made as a communal issue because their Muslim peasants were fighting against Hindu landlords. So that was used by Britishers to pit one community against the other, and that was led by Kunja Ahmad Haji. Sikh agitation against the removal of the corrupt mahants of this Gurudwara committees, because Gurudwara committees had some British interference, and because of British interference it had become corrupt, and most of the members of that committee were supporting the Britishers, and now that led to called as Akali movement to remove these corrupt mahants from that particular committee. But that is all these things involved anti-British overtones. Anti-British overtones. And tribal movements also during non-cooperation movement. Look at this particular thing. Santals led by Shailajananda Sen in Bengal. Gude Mills in Andhra Pradesh led by Alluri Sitarama Raju. Again, Badrinath Pandey led in Uttarakhand. UK means Uttarakhand. That is in Garhwal and Kumaon Hills. So all these are tribal movements. So that is in Andhra Pradesh, Bengal as well as Uttarakhand. So all of them are becoming part of Indian national issues. What is the social base? We looked at the social base in the Swadeshi movement. Students, teachers, middle class were there. And now look at when the same students are there. Lawyers, women, peasants. Like I told you, peasants did not participate in Swadeshi movement, but here peasants are participating. Very extensively. Look at all the movements we just gave the example of. And business class also, of course, business class is there since the beginning. Okay, business class was there since the beginning. And now in the Muslim unity to speak. Okay, because of Khilafat issue also it is part of the movement. Okay. Now after this one, that is because of communalization, that unity started to break down. And in government response, of course, it is trying to have negotiation between Gandhiji and Reading. Reading was the viceroy. Okay, he was the viceroy. But the negotiation broke down, okay, in May 1921, and he tried to divide Hindus and Muslim by asking Gandhiji to control the speeches of Ali brothers, because we talked about how Ali brothers were giving speeches using religion, asking Muslim soldiers to resign from the British Indian army. But Gandhiji was too smart to accept this particular, they understood how the Britishers are trying to come between leadership, how they are trying to come between the communities. Okay, and then British response was violence right now, repression, declared ANC as illegal, volunteer groups was as illegal, all the leaders were arrested without, except Gandhiji, because leaders are the one who was organizing Swadeshi boycott and everything, organizing civil disobedience movement, or we can say non-cooperation movement. So that is the reason, except Gandhiji, all leaders were arrested. They banned press and meetings, because people, if you ban the meeting, people cannot come to picketing, they cannot come out for demonstration. If you ban press, there is no awareness, okay, there is no mobilization. And last phase of NCM, now in Ahmedabad 1921 Congress session, the president was Chittaranjan Das, but I told you all the leaders were arrested. Chittaranjan Das was also arrested, he was in jail. So the acting president was Hakim Ajmal Khan. Now they passed a resolution asking Mahatma Gandhiji to start the second phase of the non-cooperation movement, which used to be called as civil disobedience movement. Now willful violation of law should start. Okay, and that is happened in which session? That is Ahmedabad session 1921. So asking Gandhiji to launch the civil disobedience movement, which is supposed to happen in the second phase. Now Gandhiji decided on CDM. He gave a warning on February 1, 1922. He threatened to launch CDM if two conditions are not met from Bardoli or Gujarat. What's the two conditions? First one, if political prisoners are not released, you have arrested political prisoners who are just non-violent protesters, you release them and remove the press restrictions. Whatever the press restrictions are there, you have to remove them. If you don't remove them, I will launch civil disobedience movement from Bardoli, that is in Gujarat. That is non-payment of taxes. Even though some people already started that one. But Chauri Chaura incident happened in 5th February 1922, 4 days later, where the police assaulted some volunteer groups who were picketing on liquor shops, and that led to clashes between these groups. They attacked the police station, and the police station was burnt and nearly led to violence, and many people got killed. And in this violence atmosphere, Gandhiji withdraw the non-cooperation movement. They withdraw the non-cooperation movement. Okay, so this is about the entire non-cooperation movement. They asked people to concentrate on constructive activity. He resolved stop all the political activity. Now Congress Working Committee met at Bardoli at the same place which was supposed to start civil disobedience movement, and they approved to stop all the political activity, focus on constructive activity. What is this constructive activity? That is work for Hindu-Muslim unity, work for abolition of untouchability, then again work for temple entry movement, so work for building of schools and colleges, okay, and build INC as an organization through membership drive. Okay, and prepare for the next round of struggle. Prepare for next round of struggle. So by bringing unity in the society through constructive activity, that is also part of Gandhian Satyagraha. Gandhian Satyagraha is mass movement, non-violence mass movement, and constructive activity. Through this constructive activity, you prepare the masses so that their self-sacrifice ability will increase in future movements. Okay. Now later he was arrested for 6 years in March 1922, but later he was released on health grounds. Later he was released. Now other facts are part of non-cooperation movement. Certain parties did not support. The Justice Party did not support non-cooperation movement because they contested elections in Madras. The reason why Justice Party, we talked about South Indian Liberal Federation, they were anti-Brahmin, okay, and they were working for lower classes. Okay, they were working for lower classes. They felt like Indian National Congress under the control of upper caste, and that is the reason they supported Britishers in certain activities. So they felt like if Congress comes to power, that is, it will only in the hands of upper class only, and that is the reason they contested election, even though all other parties boycotted elections. And again, Maishia peasants against Union Board taxes in West Bengal, led by B.N. Sasmal. And again, Kanika in Odisha, peasant melis or anti-feudal demonstrations happened. And then again, Kunvarji Mehta in Bardoli led protests. Okay, and then again, Patidar peasants in Gujarat, they already started no revenue campaign without the formal INC approval, because they were waiting for INC's approval of civil disobedience movement, which was given in Ahmedabad session in 1921. But even before the approval was given, they already started civil disobedience movement. There is no revenue campaigns. And again, no revenue campaign in Andhra Pradesh also. No revenue campaign in Patidar peasants in Gujarat also. Okay, so this is about non-cooperation movement, home rule movement, Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation movement, every movement what we have seen. Okay.